The unit worker that we're going to work on now this half term is Microbit programming. The HTML, some people did very well on that previously, and if we look in the classroom, there was the HTML Code Academy activities, and some people uploaded their screenshots of that. If you didn't, please do that in the HTML task progress. There's a document here to put in your screenshots. But now we're moving on with microbits, and I just want to show you some things. This is a Microbit website and editor. There's a link to it here, so I'm just going to open up. It does open up, in fact, in a new page, so I'll click on that. I'll close that tab. Now this is the Microbit website. There's quite a bit on the site and so on, but I'm just going to go through to the Let's Code section. So if I click onto the Let's Code, that loads up in just a second. In fact, I'm on the page, and then I'm going to go to the Make Code Editor. If I click on the Make Code Editor, this comes up. It's not quite the editor at this point. Here's some of my programs that I've worked on previously. You can see 7 or 9 hours ago or so. You can have a look at some of the tutorials if you want to. It takes a bit more interest in the computer programming, the problem solving of this, but there's some tutorials. If you click on it, it'll start the tutorial. Sometimes there's videos and sometimes there's text to describe and tell you what you need to do. So it says how to put the LEDs on. These are quite good, but we're actually going to do these type of tasks in class in any case. Click OK. It tells you what blocks to pick on. You can move forward to the next task. You can move back to the previous element and so on. But I'm going to exit that tutorial just at this point and show you some other things. There's also some live coding lessons. So they're videos that can load up. Maybe some of them are this particular one, daily coding lessons, like similar to your PE with Joe Wicks. This is a computing coding with some computer scientists who go through daily coding lessons and teach you that way. There's some games, and it's worth looking at the blocks and the codes and going through the tutorial to do a rock paper scissors game, and it shows you how to create it. And we're going to use the Microbit. Now the Microbit is a piece of software here. It's an image of a Microbit. We got these in school, but it tells you that on shake we're going to do the following. Oh right, okay, so what are we going to do? So we add a hand variable to place the set hand to. All right, we're maybe not quite at that point at the moment, but there are variables in here. There's the variable window, and it says to make a variable. So it says to put hand in there. I'm going to click on OK, and then it'll tell you, right, so what do we want to do? In fact, it says set hand to the block in the shake event. Oh great, so again, variables, set hand, and I'm going to put that into there, and set hand to 0 to start with, or something like that, right? Anyhow, I'm going to exit that tutorial because that's not the aim of this video. I'm going to create a new project and start from scratch and just have a look at the Microbit page. It starts off with these two blocks, on start and forever. If you can't see those, or if those disappear, you'll find them in throughout here under all these colors. There's some logic ones, if statements, making decisions. So if counter equals 10, then print end of game or something like that. There's a variables part, which we've already seen with basic, show number, and then there's more in there, clear screen, which will clear that, and also all these inputs and all that. And in here you can see on shake, which we just talked about. So if I click, we could get rid of end, start and forever, but I'm going to leave them there just for now. We can move them around nicely, and those of you who've used Scratch programming will be familiar with these type of blocks. So let's go and have a look at just making a simple thing, and let's have a look. There we are, clear screen and so on, and there's basic show LEDs and so on. So I'm just going to go to my input, and on these I'm just going to play on button A pressed. I'm going to say B, show LEDs, and let's put some. So nothing's happening over here. I'm running the program, nothing's happening, but when I click on A, oh, let's go and see, make sure we're running, sorry, and it shows the pattern that I got there. Stop the program running, and nothing happens obviously while I'm not running. Let's just change the pattern slightly, and this time run the program. Okay, nothing's happening, but there we are. So it does exactly on button A. Now this time let's change it to on button B, and run the programming. So nothing's happening on A, but now when I click on B, that's happening. And you can, if you want to, with these inputs, you can have button A doing one thing. So let's just put basic LEDs. Obviously pause the video or rewind if you want to see this a little slower. So we'll just put a cross in there. So now when I run this program, button A shows a cross, button B shows that pattern that I had previously. So A will always do that, and B will always do what it was supposed to. Alright, so B, 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 A, B, A, B. There's a slight delay. That's probably just internet connection and so on. Alright, now when I complete that, I'm going to do a screenshot into my evidence folder and show this area on screen. Okay, and that's what one of the things I'm going to do. Now, if you've got screenshot software or screen clipping software, you can do that. PowerPoint's quite good at doing that, but we'll get a screenshot of that nonetheless, put in evidence. The evidence isn't so important in the first week or 2 weeks, but it becomes more important later on when I want to sort of look at progression. Now I'm going to have a look at Classroom. So let's go and have a look at Classroom, and this is the class 8DIT3. This is us. You should have the link in your email. So I got the stream there. Don't worry too much about the stream. I'm not worried about that sort of thing. It's the classwork I want to have a look at. So it says Lesson 1 Microbits. So the first bit is Microbit editor and so on. That's the link through to the editor as we've just seen. And then I've got Lesson 1, which is a presentation. And if you open up presentation, it opens up in Google Slides, and you can scroll through. It tells you a little bit about the 5x5 array, so the 25 red LEDs that light up and so on. And it tells you who created it. Good bit of interest. That's what the real one looks like, the hardware. That's what it looks like. And it asks you to do a creeper face. So when working through, this is slightly different, and you've seen that in fact when we do go to microbit.org, if we go to the website, go to Let's Code, just the make code editor. So it's slightly different to the presentation. Don't forget, new project, and it will come up with the new project window ready. Alright, if you accidentally click on the JavaScript bit, it's looking for text programming. We're not at that level just yet, but we'll move on to that. But we'll go to the blocks, and you carry on working through the activities on this presentation. So you can see the interface looks slightly different to that presentation. But the first one's going to ask you for images. Alright, and show image at offset. This is the block that we're looking for. So if we look at these, there's no actual images. It's changed since that presentation, but in advanced, if I scroll down, there's images, and it's got show image. And if I put in my image block, I'll put it at start, show my image. Well, there isn't a my image at the moment, but if I go back to the images, create image, click it, can you see the colour changing? At the moment it's just floating all around. Oh, it's going all over the place. But when I move it into that position there, it's now got create an image. Alright, and then when I run that, that's what it looks like, exactly as I've asked there. So that's what the presentation is sort of asking you to do, and then it asks you, but it's just finding the correct blocks in the correct position that sometimes from this presentation is in slightly different places. Alright, but they're all there, and work through, and then it'll ask you to create a timer to pause for 3 seconds. Well, quite nice in this coding. Let's just, in fact, let's just get rid of that block. Oh, I can't use delete, I can't use anything. So if you just want to delete it, just drag it back to the menu, and there we are, there's my image. Just drag that over as well. You can see the dustbin appear in there. So I'm going to create a counter that lasts for 3 seconds. So there are sort of things, you know, there's loops. So we could have a repeat. I'm going to set a variable, set. I'll make a new variable, I'll call it counter, click OK. In fact, yes, I'll have that. I'm going to take the repeat out and put it into the forever loop. Set counter equals 0, forever. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to make change counter by 1 each time, repeat 3 times. And I also need to, and if I go to basic, look what all of these things are. Show, and instead of show number, I'm going to grab counter, I'm going to put that into there. You can see I'm clicking it in. I don't know whether you can hear the sound, but there's a click, slight click. So on start, it's going to set it to 0, then it's going to do a counter, and it just tots up the counter that way. Oh, in fact, it's carrying on, because it's forever saying repeat. So in fact, maybe I should have put that onto an input, such as on button A. So let's put on button A, click that in. So nothing happens, forever's not doing anything. Let's run it. 3, and it happens because it's repeating 3 times rather than that forever loop. Work through the tasks, so have a little bit of a go at those. I'm going to post some videos on this just to try out, show you some other interesting bits of programming. You can also see there's the pause, it gives you that sort of thing, and then there's an extension task. So we'll see how well you do with that, but just try out some programs and see how you get on, and I'll be in touch.